Okay, let's talk pros and cons of some of my favorite suburbs in the whole Tampa area. Here we go. I'm Sam, and this is the Living in Tampa channel. We make these videos for you about what it's like to live and move to the whole Tampa area. We're also a team of realtors, and we'd love a chance to earn your real estate business. So give us a call, text, or email anytime. After you reach out, what we'll do is hop on a Zoom call or a phone call and just process your situation and see how we can best help. North suburbs. Now, sometimes I skew this toward Wesley Chapel. Today, I'm gonna skew a little more toward the beaches. We're talking Odessa, Land O'Lakes, Newport Richey. You see this area on the map right here? That's what I'm focusing on today. So these are pros and cons. We're gonna hop into the cons first. Usually the cons are what people actually wanna hear about, the potential downsides. I get it. So con number one is that these neighborhoods are typically pretty small. I'm in Starkey Ranch right now. Just down the road is Astoria. We have Longleaf just over here. Even Ballantree, some of these others, they're not huge neighborhoods. A lot of people, when they move here, they want that kind of big neighborhood feel where they get to know a lot of people. Con number two is prices. The amount of inventory in the area does contribute to that. And these neighborhoods just have a little bit more green space, especially these ones that back up to the Starkey Preserve, because all that land is preserve land. You can't do anything with it. You have the same issues in Land O'Lakes with the Connor Preserve. You have the same issues in a lot of areas because Florida doesn't want to get too packed. And I'm thankful they do that, but that means prices stay a little bit higher. To get an entry-level house in a lot of these neighborhoods, you're looking over $400,000, and in many of them, like Starkey Ranch, you're looking over $500,000 for the entry-level homes. Con number three, all these first three cons are kind of similar. There's just a handful of options. So con number three, only a handful of options. And we've experienced this a lot lately with clients that are looking in these neighborhoods specifically. There's just not a bunch out there for them to choose between. So some of our clients have been interested in these neighborhoods recently, and there's just not a ton of options. They kind of fall in love with Starkey Ranch or with Longleaf for different reasons. Starkey because of how spread out it is, Longleaf because of how many people have really nice front porches and sit out there. People like a certain feel in their neighborhood, and then in those neighborhoods, there's just not that many options. So it takes a little bit more time to find the right place. What does that mean practically? It means practically every weekend, there might be one or two more options. No more than that. Okay, con number four, it's hard to buy something brand new. They are doing phase 3 of Longleaf, but a lot of this other stuff is pretty developed. There are a couple new developments in Land O'Lakes. Bexley, you can still get a couple lots, and then there's a couple other new ones, but it's mostly built. If you wanna buy brand new, that's why we end up talking about some other areas when it comes to that, like Wesley Chapel or Parish, because in this area, there's just not much of that. There is a lot of traffic though, driving behind me in this gated section. Con number 5, in neighborhoods like this, you do have extra fees. So in Starkey Ranch here, the HOA is $115, the CDD is $300 per month. If you lived in Esplanade, then your HOA would be $380. A lot of these neighborhoods are pretty comparable around those things, with the CDD being a bit higher than the others, but you're always gonna have those extra fees that you have to think about. Now, reach out to us and we can help you identify kind of what your expectations should be and kind of where we can find the right spot for you. Real quick before we get into the pros, let me tell you why I love this area. I mean, the pros are kind of about why I love this area. We'll get into this a little bit, but it's the distance to everything, the distance to the beaches, the distance to Tampa. It also just feels a little bit more like rural and a little less tropical. You have big trees around you. It feels kind of woodsy in some areas. I like all of that. Not everybody likes that, I get it. Maybe you want rocks and palm trees. We can find that too. Okay, let's get into the pros. Pro number 1 is access to Tampa. We talk about this a lot. Commute distances are really important. 589 Veterans Expressway going north and south, kind of dividing this area. It divides Odessa and Land O'Lakes. Highway 54 going east and west, connecting all of these towns to each other. It gets pretty backed up, but still is where all the path of development is and where all these towns connect to each other. Now, there might be some traffic occasionally, but it's still easy access. Pro number 2 is easy access to beaches. Now, the easiest beach you can access is Fred Howard Park in Tarpon Springs, but even getting down to Honeymoon Island is just not gonna take you that long compared to if you lived in Wesley Chapel or even if you lived in the middle of Tampa. Actually, from here, if you wanted to get to St. Pete Beach, it'd probably take you on the Veterans Expressway instead of down US 19, just because it's a little bit faster because you drive faster. It's more miles, but US 19 just gets so slow. Okay, pro number 3, we talked about you can't buy new, but sometimes you want the development around you to be finished. You're not waiting for stuff to be built. The development here is mostly finished. Neighborhoods, restaurants, community centers, schools, libraries. They have some schools to add. Probably a high school is what will get built next in this area, but everything else is pretty built out. You can see just there along Highway 54 how much it's been built out in the past few years. And once you live here, you see stuff coming up like crazy. Obviously, they're still building warehouses and commercial facilities, but the neighborhoods and most of the amenities needed for living are done. Okay, pro number 4 is the schools. Yeah, they probably still have a high school to add, but the schools in this area, in the Odessa area, are very loved. And not just Odessa, but some of Land O'Lakes and Trinity, a lot of these areas that connect to each other, there's a lot of really good schools. Now, of course, if you call and you say, hey, I want the best schools, I'm gonna make you define that and tell me what a good school is, because the niche.com ratings, goodschools.com ratings, or goodschools.org, whatever it is, they're not the whole picture, and I think a lot of you understand that. Another thing that I wanna say about the schools here is they're going to keep getting better. With families here moving here so much over the past 5 to 10 years, the schools are getting better, and they're going to keep getting better. Okay, pro number 5, our last pro, max appreciation. I know somebody that bought a house in one of these gated sections of Starkey Ranch. They bought it in 2020 for $700,000. It's worth about $1.3 million now. Now, it's not going to keep appreciating that fast, but it is going to keep appreciating very quickly because of the way they've designed a lot of these neighborhoods with a lot of space around them. They're not going to fill it all in. There's not going to be new houses come in here that lessen the scarcity of your home if you do buy a house in this area. You got some amazing appreciation in these neighborhoods. I'm curious your thoughts about these areas. Returning to the map, look at what I'm talking about. Newport Richey, Trinity, Odessa, Land O'Lakes, this stretch along here. I'd love to know your thoughts. Love to know if you have any questions, and give us a call, text, or email anytime. Thanks for coming by.